Who do you think would win, Superman or Darkseid? In most of their encounters, Superman and Darkseid are seen as evenly matched opponents, with almost equal strength. However, I personally feel that Superman has a slight edge over Darkseid in terms of strength. This is especially evident in many of their confrontations. Superman always seems to have the physical advantage, outclassing Darkseid in hand-to-hand combat. A prime example is the battles where Superman often overwhelms Darkseid, not only with sheer strength, but also with superior endurance and willpower. We can easily see Superman taking the initiative, with powerful attacks that put Darkseid at a disadvantage for most of the confrontation. We even witnessed a notable moment when Darkseid turned Jimmy Olsen into Kryptonite in an attempt to gain an advantage in his fight with Superman. But why would Darkseid do that? Simply because he was at a disadvantage and was losing. This shows that, although Superman and Darkseid are often considered to be evenly matched, sometimes that balance is broken by differences in tactics and approaches. Darkseid, with all his power, was forced to use complex schemes to confront Superman, a clear demonstration of Superman's dominance in the decisive moments. In the next confrontation, Superman put Darkseid at a complete disadvantage, overwhelming him with superior strength. Superman's attack was so powerful that Darkseid had no choice but to use a boom tube to send Superman back to Earth to avoid complete defeat. This action not only showed the danger of Superman's power, but also reflected the desperate situation Darkseid was in, as he had to rely on advanced technology instead of facing it directly. Even Darkseid, an arrogant and powerful being, had to admit that Superman had defeated him cleanly. For that reason, Darkseid bluntly declared at the conference, "He defeated me fairly." This statement not only reflected Darkseid's acceptance of defeat, but also affirmed Superman's superiority in the confrontation. Once again, Superman proved himself superior in hand-to-hand combat, overwhelming Darkseid with a combination of incredible strength, speed, and indomitable will. Superman had defeated Darkseid too many times to simply dismiss it as a case of PIS, plot-induced stupidity. Superman's victory over Darkseid was indeed consistent. This victory occurred after the World War Hour, when Superman had undergone rigorous training under Mongol. Thanks to this, Superman not only significantly increased his control, but also knew how to exploit his power potential to the fullest. Superman after this period was truly a superior version. Not only stronger, but also sharper in combat, helping him easily overwhelm Darkseid. After training with Mongol, Superman demonstrated an incredible ability to use his powers. After Our Worlds at War, Superman experienced a huge increase in strength. This was not because his powers were amplified or enhanced, but because he learned to control and use his powers more effectively than ever before. This difference was clearly shown in his confrontations with Darkseid. Even when Darkseid was completely overwhelmed by Superman's overwhelming strength and even bled under the powerful punches, Superman did not stop. He continued to throw a more powerful punch, enough to send Darkseid flying, completely outmatched in the fight. The idea that Superman was amplified by the boom tube is such a misconception that I couldn't help but laugh. When Superman traveled to Apokolips via the boom tube, did his size increase? The answer is yes. But does that mean Superman is actually amplified? From a lower dimensions perspective, it seems so. However, in the dimension Superman is in at the time, he is not amplified. When we see Superman fighting Darkseid in the fourth world, they both appear to be the same size. Why? Because both Superman and Darkseid are in the same dimension, where everything follows the laws of relativity. If Superman in that dimension is larger than a universe, then Darkseid is also larger than a universe. The fact that everything in that dimension exceeds the size of a universe is due to the nature of the space they are in, not the amplification of power. Remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications to see the earliest videos. Thank you. So, when Superman defeated Darkseid in the fourth world, both Superman and Darkseid existed in the same strength and size terms. Unless Darkseid suddenly became a microscopic entity and Superman crushed him with just one finger, then it could be said that Superman was amplified by getting bigger. In reality, they were both in the same dimension, where scale and size are balanced by the nature of that dimension. This means that Superman's victory over Darkseid was based entirely on actual strength and fighting skill, not any amplification or size advantage. I mean, Superman is slightly stronger than Darkseid. That's why I know Darkseid is extremely powerful. For example, if Darkseid's power level is 9.9, then Superman's power level is 10. Some fans often cite Darkseid's treatment of Superman and other members of the Justice League as an excuse. But in reality, this is too easy to understand. It's funny to see that every time Darkseid beats up the entire superhero team, there are times when Darkseid can easily slap Superman. But that's understandable. You see, Superman is often restrained. It's a lot of things, and that's something any Superman connoisseur knows all too well. Most of the time, Superman intentionally accepts damage in order to experience a form of false compassion built on unfounded optimism, as Wioska describes it in his deep dive into his psychology and personality. This creates a unique aspect to how Superman deals with threats. As you may have noticed, the enemies often appear as ghosts or holograms, representing challenges that Superman doesn't actually use his full power to fight. Among such opponents, we see familiar names like Darkseid, Mongol, and even Doomsday. These confrontations not only demonstrate Superman's power, but also his restraint and humane approach to fighting, even when facing the most dangerous of enemies. As you can see, when Superman is willing to fight without restraint, Superman defeats Darkseid. But there are times when Superman doesn't use his full power, and Darkseid slaps Superman. Darkseid would probably kill Superman, or at least come close. Basically, if Darkseid was at the peak of his power, he would easily destroy Superman, the way a colony of ants can take down a spider. This reflects a painful truth. Despite living his entire life restraining his powers for the good of the creatures around him, Superman has never truly explored the limits of his abilities. What he can do is nothing compared to the limitless potential that Darkseid can achieve when not restrained. Superman has always struggled to maintain his patience and humanity, but this sometimes makes him an easy target when faced with powerful beings like Darkseid. Occasionally, Superman has the upper hand in confrontations, fighting more powerful versions of Darkseid. A clear example is in Final Crisis No. 7, where Superman not only faces Darkseid, but overcomes extremely difficult challenges. He even defeats Darkseid in his true form, an impressive victory that shows that Superman is not only powerful, but also capable of overcoming extremely dangerous opponents. This proves that no matter how destructive Darkseid is, Superman can still find a way to prevail. I remember an episode of Justice League where Superman had his army of robot servants from the Fortress of Solitude transport all the civilians in the city where Darkseid was invading to safety. After the entire city was cleared of civilians, Superman admitted to Darkseid that he was never strong enough to defeat Darkseid. But that was because Superman cared so much about survival that he purposely held back his powers so as not to accidentally kill anyone, because, let's face it, he could also easily exhale too much, and that could throw someone hundreds of feet without any effort. Now, he even holds back his powers around Darkseid because, even when not on Earth, he would be with other people like teammates, allies, or even Darkseid's minions that he could easily kill if not held back. So he confronts Darkseid and straight up tells him that he held Darkseid back because he knew that he could easily do some serious damage to Darkseid too. But he tells Darkseid that he can take the hit. He is the only one who can take Darkseid at 100% power and not worry about killing him. And so Superman unleashes everything on Darkseid, and while Superman doesn't leave the fight unscathed, he still lands some serious blows on Darkseid. Needless to say, Darkseid is defeated and Superman wins. Bloody, but a win nonetheless. What do you guys think of this fight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much.